just running up an alcoholic. Right. Sobriety date is August 15, 2015. And I'm a member of the King of Believe group at Rocky Mountain. I also have a home away from home group, and that's the Sunday morning spiritual hour meeting here on Sunday mornings. I absolutely love coming here to this program. Someone asked me earlier when I was here in the evening where I was from. And I always have a hard time with answering that question, where I'm from. To sum it up, I always say the East Coast. I was born in New York, Queens, St. Albans, Queens, New York, and I was about a year and a half old when my parents relocated down to Savannah, Georgia. So Savannah, Georgia is where I grew up. In the mid-'80s, I moved back up to New York, and that's where I lived for a little while before I joined the Navy and relocated out to California. Was out there for quite some time. But anyway, early in my childhood, I recall one of the first times that I did something and got away with it. It wasn't even in kindergarten. I stole a pack of M&Ms. I mean, when my mom would take us grocery shopping, my little sister and I, we would usually get a piece of candy. We always got a candy bar at the end of grocery shopping when we were checking out. We would show the lady what it was, and she would charge us the dime or 15 cents or whatever it was. And my dad was with us at that time, and he said no. Well, no one was going to tell me no. Right in my pocket they went. And every creak, every little sound that I heard, I thought I was busted. Well, that was the door opening. No, that was the seat. That was the bag. You know, so nobody knew what was going on, but I got away with it. Remember that. Moving on, fast forwarding, I was probably about maybe 8, 9 years old, and I told you that my parents had relocated to Georgia from New York because of Grumman. Grumman Corporation made a lot of military aircraft, but they had started off with a civilian executive aircraft range. And they relocated about 200 or 300 people from Long Island, New York, down to Savannah, Georgia for this new plant. And every year, every October, they would have what was called the Grumman Family Picnic. The Grumman Family Picnic was basically a drunk fest for all the employees because they would have about 4 or 5 Pabst Blue Ribbon trucks there, and each truck had about 12 kegs in it. And all the boys and all the girls would go get beers for their dads, and along the way, sip, sip, sip. And I hated the taste of beer, but I liked that little ooh. And then, of course, you know, trying to do something to get away with. What did you do? Yep, you stuck a beer. You had a beer, and I ended up throwing up everywhere, and it was you know, I got away with it, but I didn't get away with it because I had to throw up. So moving along, I've got to tell you this story because my mom was unable to have other children after she had gave birth to my daughter. So we were raised Catholic. We're a Catholic family. And in Georgia, Savannah there, they had this home for girls, Catholic home for girls that the parents would surrender them there. It was kind of like a Catholic foster program, but the parents were still involved. The moms were usually still involved somehow. So it was just a way for them to not be parents and just be able to get by with it. So every weekend, we would have this girl come into our house, and she essentially became my older sister from 2nd grade on. And we grew up together. We did everything together. We were pals. I mean, she was literally my older sister. And probably I was in the 8th grade, and I came home from school one day from the bus, and my dad was home. And I remember, when I saw my dad home, I was just, oh my God, what am I going to get beat up for this time? What am I in trouble for now? And I went home, and I opened the door, and he was on the couch. I'm like, what's going on here? He says, hey, you want to see something? Sure. He had these 5x7 pictures of this woman that was naked, nude, like the back of the girly magazines. There was those lewd pictures. And I was just like, okay, it was kind of awkward. There's your dad showing you this stuff, and you're just like, all right, what's going on here? Whatever. So okay, you know, and I was a typical boy. I did the things that I tried to get away with. It was always smoking cigarettes, smoking other things, sneaking liquor, doing anything I could to get away with it. And I didn't understand that that was actually part of my alcoholism until later on, obviously. So, grew up around guns. And one of the things that I got into was I would take the projectiles off and dump and save up the propellant and burn it all up and make this big old fire thing, and I would pop the primer caps out. Well, one day I was at the bottom drawer of my dad's drawer, and I pulled out the drawer and it came all the way out, and inside there was an envelope. And in that envelope were the pictures that he showed me, plus other pictures. And they were of the girl that we had picked up. And I tell that because that was a very pivotal moment for me, that I physically, emotionally changed that exactly. It was an out-of-body experience because I had the sensation and feeling of betrayal, hurt, horror, all these sensations and these emotions all at the same time. That what? To the point where I put the pictures down and I went and got my dad's 20 gauge double barrel, put 2 cells in there and closed it, and I went looking for pictures of my younger sister. Because if I found that, he was going to get both barrels and he killed. I was going to get both barrels, right to the head. Didn't happen, obviously. Did not happen. But from that moment on, I had no trust in any type of authority, no trust in my dad, no trust. Not so much that I didn't trust my mom, but it was always leery. I mean, how can you not just keep going on like that? How do you? What happens? What's that do to a person? And I don't tell this story often, but I'm telling it now because this is a part of who I am and what I did and why I did what I did. I didn't care after that. I snuck liquor. I got to the point where I looked old enough to go into 7-Eleven or Circle K or Shop and Go or whatever it was, and I could buy a beer. I wasn't even 16 yet. I was just over 15, and I was game on. But it was easier to get other stuff. Alcohol almost became secondary until I discovered River Street. I discovered the bars and the ladies. And I was always afraid of the ladies. The ladies just scared me to death because, well, I don't want anything like what happened to my sister happened to her. I carried that gene in me. Oh my God, am I that kind of person too? Am I going to do that to my daughter? What is going on? How is this happening? And I started, when I moved up to New York, I discovered the bar scene up there, and wow, that was pretty amazing. And I would go in there with $20. $20 did not go very far in 1987. It did not. Last couple hours, then it's like, all right, $20 isn't going to do it. You know, it's got to be 30. No, not 30. It's got to be 50. It's like, holy crap! I'm spending my whole check in there. What's going on? And I couldn't get enough of it, to the point where I took a second job washing dishes at the bar so I could drink free. Bartenders would always bring out washing dishes, putting them through the thing. Brought me beer back there. All right, sign me up. I'm in for this. That didn't last very long, but I still kept drinking because even on the job when I was doing irrigation and plumbing work, I would get the cooler, put the beers in there with ice, go out to the truck, grab a beer, suck it down right there inside the truck, crush the empty, put it in a little trash bag. Hey, look at this. I'm getting away with this again, too. More stuff I'm getting away with. Life kind of happens, and I got to the point in my life where I needed to have a change. And what did I do? Join the Navy. I saw an ad in the paper, and it spoke to me. The ad said 30 days paid vacation, no training, no experience necessary. 1-800, I'm like, I'm dialing the number and I'm hearing the phone ring and I'm like, I bet this is the Army or something. It was a central recruiting office in East Meadow for the U.S. Navy in that region. And I was 26 at the time. I was 26 at the time. And all right, I was like, I'll talk to the recruiter. And I remember Virginia Rogers. I spoke to her. I went down and I saw her at the recruiting station. And she talked me into taking this test. It's called the Armed Forces Vocabulary ASVAB. And I took a mock one. And they were like, yeah, you can pretty much get any job you want, except nuclear hospital foreman. More on that as we get to it. I got to go back to Savannah real quick here. It was a concert that I went to that I got a little infraction with the law for a less than a gram of the substance that you smoke, but it's not tobacco. Anyway, joining the Navy, you have to divulge that information because they research that. If you don't divulge it, you don't put it on paper, you don't document it, they'll stop your enlistment. So I joined the Navy and I shipped out after taking this test at the recruiting district. All right, I can do this. I can do this. I can do the Navy because I hadn't yet begun to drink alcohol. A lot of it was just to drink, just to get away with it, just to do it to be social. When I joined the Navy, went through training for 13 months before I got to my first command. And when I was still in training, I was in Pensacola, Florida, and I went into the classroom, and the instructor said, "Hey, we'll meet everybody down at the beach at 10 o'clock. We'll see you then." And someone said that it was a hospital for a birthday. I had no idea what that meant. I was like, okay. So I went down, I went back to my room, had a cigarette, walked down to the beach in uniform. When I got there, I was the only one in uniform. Everybody else was in beach gear. They were wearing Birdwells, surf shorts or board shorts, we call them, board shorts, t-shirts and whatnot. And I show up in my uniform, my little whites and my white hat. And they said, "Go back and change." And just as I was leaving, to go back to change, a truck rolled up and they had 3 kegs of beer. And I said, "I'll be right back." And I said, "This is the hospital for a birthday?" I'm like, "Okay, this is kind of cool. This is the environment that I can adapt to." And as my career in the Navy progressed, I was stationed with Marine Corps units. Again, a culture of drinking that I fit right into because it was expected that you drank. You play hard, you work hard, you play hard. And part of that play hard was drinking as much booze as you could until you couldn't drink anymore. And you went home and you slept it off. And if you were lucky, you slept it off instead of having to get up to go PT or go to work. That was a different story. You got by with it, you just sucked it up. And the more you did it, the better you got at it. And as I built up tolerance to my alcohol use, I didn't know that I was justifying continued use every time I would get drunk, hungover, and still be able to perform and do my job. Sometimes I was still drunk. Excuse me. So that justification told my mind that, you know what, you can do this, you got this. I'm a functioning drunk. I didn't know that whole progression was really starting to catch up to me. And every so often I would go back to that moment where, man, if anybody ever had the experience what I did when I was 15, or not even 15, you drink like I drank too, and you do all the other stuff that I do too. And it's not true. It's just not true. I used that as a crutch for a long time, a real long time. And I never told anyone. Never. I had, that was a secret I kept. I mean, I was going to take that all the way to the grave. No one was going to ever know about that. Again, hey, you know what? That fourth step and that fifth step got to kind of let go of that baggage after a while. Again, those hospital court birthday situations. You know, they have the drinks there that are available, usually no charge, but that wasn't enough for me. They couldn't pour it fast enough. They couldn't pour it strong enough. So I always brought my own. Plus, I drank plenty before I went too. All those beach bashes and hospital court balls. It was again, it was the lifestyle and the culture that I really thrived on. I fit into it. You kind of make do. I remember I was deployed on ships, and I had people send me plastic bottles, those brown peroxide bottles. I had them rinse it out and put bourbon in it. I had them rinse it out and put rum in it. I had them rinse them out and put vodka in it. And if you let alcohol sit in a plastic container long enough, it starts to get the taste and the flavor of that plastic, and it's not good. But drink it anyway. I wanted the alcohol. I wanted that alcohol. In Iraq, my ex-wife, my first wife, sent me in glass bottles the Arizona green tea with rum and tequila in it. And one of them broke. And you could smell the rum on the outside. And it was like, yeah, you might be able to get drunk if you suck the cardboard here. You can bring the cardboard out and get drunk off of that. I was like, there's 2 more bottles in there that you don't even know that aren't broken. But that progression, when I got out to California, one of the first things I did was went to the supermarkets out there. It's called Rouse. Sunday morning, before 8 o'clock, I got a case of beer, a bottle of tequila, and a pack of steaks before 8 o'clock on Sunday. They ring me up. Really? Yeah. Is there anything else you want? That's it. I ain't never leaving. I was signed up. That wasn't nothing. The grocery stores are open 24/7. You can buy alcohol any time of the day. Any time of the day. And I was just blown away by that. I said, I ain't never leaving. So my progression in alcohol continued, and I didn't know that I was that bad until I was putting it in places that I couldn't find anymore. You know, you hide your liquor. Where the hell is it? Where the hell is it? Where did I put it? You hide it so many places you can't find it. You can't remember where it was. And I remember I hid something, and I was like, wow, there it is. This was after I'd gotten sober. I was like, oh my God, was I really that dumb? I was that dumb. We got an opportunity to do some things, and I'll tell you, my current wife is just an amazing person. She did her taxes one year. We got a lot of money back, and that money came back into my account. And drinking and Amazon do not go hand in hand. Drinking and Amazon, that was not a pretty picture. I bought stuff. I had no idea what I was doing. Didn't know that I couldn't play the drums. Never opened that drum set up, and bought watches that never worked. Could never figure them out. Bought stuff. I was just like, what is this? What packages would just keep coming in. I had no control over me. My daughter was just doing what she was doing. I got her to school on time. I got her to daycare on time, and I picked her up on time every day. So, no big deal. There's consequences somewhere along the line, but I didn't know what they were. I didn't care. Those M&Ms, I didn't care. I didn't care about consequences. I just kept doing it. I was trying to get away with what I thought and believed I was going to get away with. So, as life progressed, my wife got called out to duty. She was active duty Navy as well. She got called out. She was on deployment for 6 months. And let me tell you, when your wife's not there, you know, the liquor just stayed out on the counter. It just stayed out on the counter the whole time. I didn't put it away. I didn't have to hide it from my daughter. I just drank and drank and drank. And then when she came home, you know, I cleaned and cleaned and cleaned. And, you know, I was able to get things done. I was able to function. I functioned to the level that I just kept fooling myself. I kept telling myself that the more I drank, the more I could drink, and the more I should drink. But that's what our brains tell us to do. It's like the more alcohol we put in, the more we have a tolerance for, the more we progress, the more that we want it. I didn't know that I would want it. I wanted it that bad. And again, I was not a daily drinker. I would binge drink. When I took that first drink, it would go. I didn't know. I didn't know when I was going to stop. Especially if it was during the weekend. During the weekend, Saturday, 10 o'clock. Yeah. I'll have a glass of bourbon right now. I can do this. Go out and mow the lawn. Take my daughter somewhere. Yeah, take my daughter somewhere after mowing the lawn or doing something out in the yard, doing some kind of project. And wife was home. Got everything cleaned up. I started obviously I put the liquor away. Then I would go to the liquor store. I would find an excuse to go to Ralph's or Vaughn's. And I would get those little cans, I'd get like 4 of them, shoot them right in the parking lot, take them back, put them in the trash can outside the front, take the receipts, throw them in the trash as I was leaving, because it would have on there the bottle of vodkas that I bought or whatever I had bought. I was trying to get away with it. There was a time that I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Because it's good. You like the bourbon. You like the scotch. You like the vodka. And it got to the point where the bourbon was too expensive, and you could smell it. So vodka it was. $10 a bottle of vodka. I could go to Bevmo. Bevmo is probably the equivalent to ABC. It's a chain store, but it's not state-run. It's privately owned, but it's like Sam's Club or Costco for alcohol. There's nothing but alcohol in there. I mean, there's some cheeses and some snacks and stuff in there, but it's all booze, and it's all the high-end stuff, and it's all the low-end stuff. I mean, it's like everything in between. And I was like, oh my God, this place is going to be awesome. It opened up, and I was a regular in there. I would get those airplane bottles. I got to do that alcoholic accounting, where I'm like, wait a second, a fifth is this much, and a handle is this much. This is not even half, but it's twice as much plus 50%. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go with this. I'll get 2 of them. Wow, it's unbelievable how that kind of math can make you work real quick, all in your head. It's like, why can't I do this for real life stuff? Does it have to be alcohol that I can get smart on? Again, I didn't know that it was progressive and that I was really not functioning. I was only functioning just to drink. The second deployment that my wife did, I could not handle that. She was gone for 9 months that time. Actually, she was home for 9 months and then was gone for 7 months. So, back-to-back deployments like that was pretty brutal for me. The pressure of going to work, for the Navy, doing Navy chief things, making sure my daughter got to school on time, making sure she was picked up on time. Again, the whole justification that I did all this stuff while I was drunk. Where's my medal? Where's my pat on the back? Where's mine? Where's me? No, this is kind of what you're supposed to do. This is called life. You're kind of really supposed to do this. And I was just like, wow, I can't believe this. I was watching this show, Mad Men, and that was, oh my God, that show was a huge trigger. Have you seen Mad Men? No? Have you seen it? There's a lot of drinking in that. It's an ad agency in Manhattan that just, wow, every event is alcohol related. 8 o'clock in the morning. It's like, well, let's have a drink. Wow. I guess I can do that too, I guess. My wife and daughter had gone from California to visit her brother in Georgia. And I was on the couch. It was probably 8 o'clock at night. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching Madden on Netflix. I've got the show going, and I'm like, all right, let's get ready for bed here. It's almost time for bed. And then it hit me. It's like, I'm going to go get that drink. And I went out to the garage, and I slowly opened the door to make sure it didn't make any sound or any creaking. And I tiptoed out to my golf bag, and I slowly unzipped it, and I reached inside and I pulled out the bottle. It was empty. Pulled out the other bottle that was in there, and that was about half full, and I uncapped it, and I took a pull, and I took another pull, and I put the cap back on, took it back out, took another pull, and another pull, almost puked all over myself because I took a heavy pull. And then I put it back in, I got all it zipped back up, and I went back to go back inside, and I just realized no one's home. No one is home, and I'm sneaking out to get liquor. Out in my own garage to get liquor. Again, trying to do something to get away with it. Trying to get away with something was probably just as big a high and just as big a thrill as the actual drink itself for me. And it's like, I was just like, wow, that's pretty funny. I just laughed it off. Didn't realize that was really, I was almost at my bottom then. Wife came home from that deployment, and I was still drinking. I had really gotten into the reptile world, and had acquired a great big iguana, built an enclosure for it, and it was really nice. We were about halfway through the remodel of our kitchen, and my wife took our daughter out to go shopping for the day, and I said, you know what? I'll just have a little nip of this blueberry moonshine right here that I got from Bedwell. And right next to it was this stuff called White Dog. White Dog is that 120 proof little it's what they do before they flavor it. It's that pure, it's that distilled stuff that's right out of the distiller. It tastes like liquid popcorn. Yeah, I'll just take a couple of nips. Well, the White Dog was gone, and that blueberry moonshine was half gone. It was about 500 milliliters, and I was blitzed, absolutely blitzed. Again, there was that binge drinking, trying to make meatballs, trying to feed the iguana. The iguana attacked me. I almost killed the iguana. I had blood everywhere, choking the iguana out. Just as my wife comes in the door. Let's like, all right, what's going on here? And she pulled my bug card on that one. Let me tell you, she called me on that. She says, you're out of hand. And that was the first time that I admitted that I was an alcoholic. I said, I'm an alcoholic. I said, while I'm at it, I should probably just blow my brains out. And when that kind of thing is said, she's active duty, I'm active duty, she has to take action. So I said, stop. No, I'll call my command and I'll let them know. So I called my boss up, did like this thing called self-referral, and I went into this outpatient rehab where took about a week. It was a 2-day class where I went, heard people talk about alcohol, the effects of alcohol, what it does to you, that first drink, how your body metabolizes alcohol, you build a tolerance for it. Even though you build a tolerance to the effects of alcohol, the alcohol is still in your blood, it's still in your body. I heard doctors explain that there could be people that were 0.30 and, hey, how's it going? What's up? Let's get work going on right here. And that's real alcoholism right there. And that was not enough to scare me. I had not hit my bottom yet. It was close, but that was my first opportunity, my first real experience with alcoholism and AA. I had to go to 2 AA programs, and I had to listen to a group from the SART program come in and talk to us for about half an hour. I had to listen to 3 other people that were going through the rehab for the Navy. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to drink anymore. That was November 9th, 2013. Again, when I introduced myself here, I said my sobriety date was August 15, 2015. So it was about almost 2 years beforehand that I had an opportunity to be sober. Wasn't ready for it. Because that whole time I was going through my classes, I was thinking to myself, I said, you know, if Mythbusters wanted to do a study on the effects of alcohol, I could be there. I'd take a drink for $1 million. For this, for science, I'll do it. The difference is that on August 15, 2015, it was very different for me. The day before, I had staged out. My wife and daughter were going up to Rehabilitation Ranch for a weekend-long cracking. I was like, thank God, I got drink all weekend long, game on. But it wasn't that weekend because I was off. I was off that Friday, and came on. I started drinking at like 9 o'clock in the morning, to the point where I actually went down, had to go to Women's, and had to get more alcohol for the day. And I proceeded to just drink and drink and drink. My wife and daughter, they left at probably 8 o'clock in the morning, and there I was, just completely blitzed by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, passed out, completely passed out. Woke up and, wow, I got more drinking to do. Took another couple of drinks and was like, all right, that's enough for me for today. And I went to sleep. And when I woke up, that was very different. This was not a hangover. This was my body was starting to tell me that things were very, very wrong with me. That I felt nauseous. I felt hungry. I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink. Everything that everything I took in came back up. I threw it out. Water, coffee. I tried a pastrami sandwich. I took 2 bites and I puked it out. I'm like, this is not working. I went to the bathroom and I peed what was probably the equivalent of Coca-Cola coming out of me. I was like, this is not good. This is not good. All the while, my head is ringing. My head's on fire. My liver is hurting. My lower back is swaying. My kidneys were just said, hey, something's up here with us. Something's going on here. Something ain't right. And it scared me. And like I said, I was a hospital foreman, so I've got a little bit of medical understanding of things of what's going on. This is a condition called rhabdomyolysis. Your kidneys are shutting down. Your body's had enough. They can't function anymore. They can't process what they're designed to process. And essentially, I was peeing blood. Coagulated blood was coming out of me, and that scared me to the point where I just remember laying in bed sweating, and it was like 105 degrees that day too in San Diego. It was hot that day, and I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore because I knew it was going to get worse from there. I didn't want that. So I consider myself a very high bottom drunk. Very high bottom drunk. With that, I got to backpedal to New York in probably 1991. I was out with the irrigation guys with the crews. It was Friday night. We had all gotten paid. We were going out and we were having a good time. One of the guys was trying to score some stuff that probably shouldn't be doing. And there was a lot of pushing and shoving going on. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to get into a fight over something that I don't want to be involved in. And I had not had really anything to drink. I was probably as sober as I was going to be. So driving home, going a little too fast, New York State troopers pulled me over. I went through every field sobriety test that they gave me. And they told me, they said, you passed everything. I said, but you blew. Did a little thing in there, and you're looking at it with a light. Is it blue? Is it blue? It's blue. It looks blue. Yeah, it's blue. And they were really nice about it. They cuffed me up front. They put the handcuffs behind me. They actually put them on front, and they let me. They watch your head go. Okay, not too tight. Okay, completely cooperative with them. Called my roommates. They came and picked me up, and still, that was not a bottom. That was not a bottom because that was a situation where I got away with it because I went to court, and because I had blown a .101, and the rate was 100. They knocked it down to an impairment because I was just so low, so little over. I mean, now I got to figure that was 1990, 91. I think it was 90 or 91. It has since gone to 0.08 or 0.07. I think it's 0.06 or something. I don't know what it is right now. But I don't need to know that. But again, I got away with it. I got away with it. And I'd gotten away with things for so long that I kept pushing the envelope, until my body said no. And I called that the hand of God being put on me and saying, hey, it's only going to get worse from here. It is only going to get worse from here. And it scared me a lot, to the point where I said, I got to get in. I'm going to go and I'm going to try AA, and I don't want to do this anymore. And that Monday, I went to an AA meeting, introduced myself as an alcoholic, and it wasn't enough, because my real bottom was about to come. My wife and I had trouble, and I joined this one dating site called, I forget what it was called, it was Ashton Madison or something like that. It was like the affair site that they released the names for, the emails and all that. And my wife put my old email in there, and it came back positive with an account. And that unnerved her to the point where, like, okay, you're going to file for divorce. I said, you know that nothing happened out of that, right? I said, I logged in, I made an account, and that was it. I said, I have nothing to stand on for that, other than my admission of guilt of having done that. I never acted on it. But she was going to file for divorce. She wanted to file for divorce, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to lose everything all at once. And I'm taking 2 classes online for college for my bachelor's degree, and all this stress going on. I said, all right. I went down to the rehab, went down to mental health, and I said, I've got crisis going on here. I need help. I've got this alcohol thing going on. I've got this relationship crisis going on. I don't know what to do. And when they were interviewing me, I said yes, yes, yes to everything. And one thing led to another. And I'm like, all right, let's deal with this one thing at a time. One thing at a time. And they said, you are an absolute candidate for our substance abuse rehabilitation program, SARP. And I remember I told you that first opportunity that I had to get sober, when I spoke to the 3 people for about half hour, that's what I was going to be doing. I was going to go to the SARP program. The only problem with that, though, is that it didn't have a seat for me until the end of September. Wait a second, this is still August. My wife is divorcing me. I've got to get in here. I've got to get this taken care of. I need help. AA. Okay, I'll go to AA. So I went to a couple of AA meetings. Didn't buy a book. I had no interest in the whole sponsorship thing. And then while I was in the SART program, I went to other meetings, and I met some people. I met some men that I really was able to connect with. One of them was my first sponsor, and he was a Vietnam vet. He explained to me that the program of Alcoholics Anonymous works if you work it. And I didn't understand what that meant. Didn't know what he meant by that. And again, as I progressed and as I got more involved with it, more immersed with it, I slowly started to feel better. Remember I told you about the experience I had in my dad's dresser? That experience, those kind of feelings always came and went. But this was different. This was, maybe I can trust God. Maybe I can trust people. Maybe I can put faith in myself if I do the right thing at the right time, when it needs to happen. It's never easy, and AA hasn't made, AA and sobriety have not made my problems go away. They allow me to handle problems a lot better than I did when I was drinking. We, like I said, my first sponsor, I got into home groups, made coffee. Oh my God, making coffee for the first year was absolutely pivotal. It was critical for my sobriety because that gave me the opportunity to do something for AA on a level that I was giving. I was giving something to the program of Alcoholics Anonymous in this one meeting in Point Loma. It was my time to leave the house about 2 hours before the meeting started. I was able to go get a slice of pizza at the pizzeria around the corner. Alfredo's is awesome if you ever happen to be in Point Loma. Really good pizza there. And I would go and I would set the meeting up, get the coffee going. And I remember the first couple of meetings that I made the coffee for, we ran out of coffee. And everybody complained. It's like, why are we running out of coffee? Did you make enough? Yeah, I made enough. There were like 12 and 16 ounce cups of coffee that everybody was getting and making and spilling everywhere. So I said, all right, I'm going to get 4 to 6 ounce cups of coffee. And that's it. If you want more, go refill, but that's all they are. If someone complains, it's like, why are your cups so small? We'll see. The byproduct of that, too, was the coffee lasted and the spills went down. Still an occasional spill, but when they had the big cups, it was like at least 3 or 4 spills a night, whereas the smaller cups, there was maybe 1, maybe 0 spills for that night. And of course, yeah, I was able to get a little something out of it, but you got to give it away first, right? I know that my experience with God and my relationship with God was very different from that day in 1980 all through my life. Now, I had known that God had been a part of my life and has protected me in occasions that I should be dead more than once. There's no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole. And I prayed a couple times the foxhole prayer, when I needed to, and when I shouldn't have, and when I should have. But I never really understood that relationship with God until I learned it through AA. I see God, higher power, and spirituality all as separate entities, but simultaneously the same. That's how it works for me. That's how it works for me. They're all 3 separate, but simultaneously the same. I've learned that prayer is your way of talking to God, and meditation is when you listen for God's words. And sometimes I don't understand what God's telling me. Sometimes I can't understand it. Let's see how this plays out. Let's just try to do the right thing for the right reason. I found myself the past couple of weekends just really flying off the handle for small things. My daughter has relocated back to California to Europe, and her car battery died in her Ford Fusion. The battery is in the back. You've got to tear the whole back out to get to the stupid battery. And it's the most out-of-stock battery in Rocky Mountain in North Carolina. I had to order it through Ford. And fortunately, the Ford guys were able to call me and tell me that there was a die-hard battery at Advanced Auto Parts where I was able to go over there and get it. Well, of course, I was upset and I was off the handle about something, and my wife told me, she said, you know what, when you get like that, it affects me. And that stung me when she said that. That stung. My actions like that. Because I've always had the attitude, it's like, well, why are you getting mad at my being mad? Why are you getting mad at my being upset? And I was just like, you know what? It's the connection that she has to me and her care, her commitment to me, why she has that reaction. And I was just blown away over that. I was just like, oh my God. Now I understand that. Anytime I get a little wigged out, it's not always about me. It's about my actions affecting other people. I know in the program I can come in here, tell my story, as chaotic and as offbeat as it may have been for this past 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes or so. I know I kind of bounced around a little bit, but this program means more to me than anything else in the world. I would not volunteer for Mythbusters. I would not do it for $1 million. I would not drink for science. That shit that's coming on. I will never drink again. And again, from the start of my rehab program, I learned why I drank the way I drank. That helped me to stop drinking. I come to AA for the sobriety and my connection with God and to hear it through you. AA is part of my higher power, and with that, I can gain spirituality and a connection and a relationship with God. It's a great program. It's a good day to be sober, and I think I'll end with that. Thank you very much, and God bless.